Betrayal. It has, what else does it have in it? I was out in Nebraska and these people told me the story of this woman's family. He's an iron worker. And he was like the Mennonite kid. He was real good at what he did. He had a good back. He was, the red iron buildings people build, somebody walks up and down, stick welds those big red beams, you know, they drop them in by crane, and somebody has to do that, and that was his job, and he's really good at it. He drank a lot, and and there's a fair amount of betrayal, but he had a wife and some kids, and I think love is complex sometimes. Anyway, I flew into Calgary one time, and there were, I'm gonna jump back into the song here in a second. But I flew into Calgary, and it's the winter time, and they were building a big red iron building, and you know, like 60 foot up, 65, I don't know, 70 feet up. They had iron workers up there, you know, they were sitting on those cross beams, waiting to weld them down, and they're dropping in a big piece of iron, 60, 70 feet, I don't know what they weigh, 1,800, 2,000 pounds, and it's on like a single choker coming off a crane. And you know, it's just hanging there. It's got one cable holding it. It's kind of floating in space. And this iron worker is sitting there on the beam, and he is stabilizing that whole. He's not roped in, not tied down or anything. 60 feet off the ground, and he's stabilizing this. 2,000 pounds of steel dangling in the wind, in the Alberta wind, with one hand. Now, what's he doing with that other hand? He's smoking a cigarette. Well, it's iron that he hangs, and he loves his work. He drives hours each day. He's never been hurt. He's got a back of steel. Burns on the sleeves of his shirt. He drinks too much when the stuff gets heavy, and he can't think straight. His mind, it's all hazy, so he stops at a sports bar. Everybody knows he's a flirt. He's driving to work with his head split open from a last night's drinking and a last night's smoking, and he never got home, and now there'll be hell to pay. 'Cause she'll be yelling and he'll be screaming and the kids will be crying. It's like a house full of demons, he says to himself. Son, why do people live this way? Well, she says to Luann, he's the father of my babies. I know you think I'm wrong. I know you think I'm crazy for sticking around while he's drunk all over town. You don't see he can be so sweet. He only gets mean when he gets in his drink. He's good to the kids, just sometimes he gets down. Well, the iron drops bad and nothing seems to fit. He gets busted on his welds. Wants to just quit. He wants to curl up tight on the cold white ground and cry. But he works full shift, he picks up at 6. It's almost Christmas, roads are getting slick. She's gonna be at the door, and it's gonna be a hell of a fight. So he's an hour out of Lincoln, no shoulder on the road, and it's dark, snow, and he ought to go slow, but he pushes the forward. It planes, it slides like a sled. Tires hit the edge and he spins like a top. Then the truck slides low in the ditch till it stops. It hurts where he banged his head. So he sits in the cab and he can't read the gauges, and the wipers they whip like wind over pages. It's loud, static on the radio. It gets too light to see. He just stared, gets too light to see. And then he got scared, then the light was gone. It's just wipers and wind turned snow. She says to Luann, he's the father of my babies. I know you think I'm wrong, I know you think I'm crazy for sticking around while he's drunk all over town. But you don't see he can be so sweet. He only gets mean when he gets in his drink. He's good to the kids, just sometimes he gets down. So he pulls back on, he drives real slow, throws the last of the six out the window in the snow. Something's changed. He saw a light, should have seen dark. And that's the last time he drank. Still a hell of a fight, but she knew he wasn't lying. When he told her about the light, she knew he wasn't lying about the light. It's iron that he hangs. He loves his work, he drives hours each day. He's never been hurt, he's got a back of steel. He's got burns on the sleeves of his shirt.